Hello, my name is Bianco. In this video we will have a look at rail covers for the pick rail, for the weaver rail, whatever you want to call it. It's a typical rail system that is used nowadays on fore ends and other places where you can easily mount items like flashlights, etc. Different variation would be, of course, the M-lock that is more common. This is more of a slot, and the key mode is a keyhole looking slot. This is a different variation of that theme, how to mount items, a bit older variation. Typically you for sure know it from the R15, from the flat top upper, so that you have on the flat top upper weaver rail or pick rail, whatever you wanna name it. So on my M4 trainer builds, I did upgrade to the M4A1, which means free floated handguard. A little bit free floated, it's not 100% because it's still using the front retainer there, but we have it basically a two-part design that clamps on around. The barrel is interlocked with the rear band and then with the front band as well and screwed together. So on the left side black, on the right side camouflage. Nothing special in that regards. And then we have on the bottom is the foregrip as it was used back then and still today. Those foregrips are original Knight's Armament, and the cover-ups, the rail covers, are also from the Knight's Armament in this variation here. So you get them in different lengths. Basically it slides over the pick rail and interlocks with that part here. So as you put it over, it interlocks with that part. As you want to take it off, you need to press in the middle with a screwdriver or maybe by hand, and then those two parts, left and right, gonna bend a bit, and then that allows that the rail cover can be removed. And that is what I want to talk about in this video. I did already make a video about the free floating or the handguard part here, and this one is new that I did not yet make. The problem is that if you have such a design and you put it on, you're quite likely gonna run into trouble that your covers not gonna lock, and that is because most of the rails are like this one. And what is the problem is that we have more of a solid portion here and here, so that little tab left and right cannot interlock. What we should have is a part like here. We see here we have the cutout and a milling that is a bit downwards here, so you have space. So in this part, not where the screw is, the screw would be in the way, but here, like in this part and this part, the cover could interlock and work how it should be. Now on both of those it did not work, so both of those needed to be reworked. And basically what you need to do is to, as you start with this, it needs to look like this. So as we hold it side by side, again you need to get a file, a Dremel, whatever you have, a milling machine, and remove part of this section here, part of that section there, and of course not by all of the rails, but only there where you want to interlock them. So some people mount it that it interlocks towards the receiver, and then some people mount it that it interlocks towards the muzzle, towards the front. It basically doesn't matter which side it interlocks, whatever you feel comfortable with, but at that point of the rail there needs to be fitting done. 99% quite likely you're gonna have a rail that they're not gonna interlock. Now, a side note of that problem, quite likely PMAG did realize that that often is not the case with rails, that they not interlock. So ProMag, did I say PMAG? What I meant is ProMag. They did come up with a solution of a rail cover that you can buy too, that doesn't have that metal tab like the Knights Armament company so did come up with and try to sell, but with a springy section in the middle. So basically what that does, it doesn't interlock left and right, but in the middle. So if you have a rail like this with a hollowed out middle, that quite likely would not work too well. Again, if you have a correct rail like this one with where the middle is solid, here it would interlock. So that is a possibility too. Myself, I did not try the ProMag version out because I wanted to go with the original and fit that. The fitting is not that much of a trouble for me. But if you don't have the possibilities, if you just want that you have a heat shield on, then quite likely or quite possibly the ProMag version is the way to go. If you don't wanna spend time fitting and go with the original one. Now another problem is the length. We see here on the table we have a long one, we have a shorter one, and a really short one. So they sell it in different variety of length. Usually they have 11 rib length, what they call it, and that is this one, and over here the same. So that is, as best as I saw, the longest one, and from that they have shorter ones in different configurations. Now the longest ones are, at least in USA, the most easy to get, so that is not the problem. The shorter ones are sometimes even more expensive than the longer ones, even as they are shorter, because they are less common available and all that. So what to do then? The second problem is that if you say you have a hand guard, you want to have it exactly in this position, maybe it's not going to work with the length of the hand, of the heat shield of the guard there. Maybe you have a gap, maybe you don't want to have a gap there. So the way to go is to cut it to size and fit it. So it's relatively easy because the material here, we have a scrap piece of one. The material is just a polymer, quite dense, but just a polymer, so you can easily saw that off in the length what you need to custom fit to size, and then just round off the edges in the similar way how the original was, and then you have exactly the length what you need. Again, you need to be careful, you need to measure where the item interlocks, so that the rail guard is locking, and then you can measure the length to whatever you wanna do with it. So that is relatively easy to fit, and then of course once we have this part we can have that part, and then also see how long the front part is. In this case here we see the locking is here. The grip has the locking from the screw, is a typical Knights Armament grip, the shorter version, and then here we have the question where we want to interlock. Want in front or want in the back. Now, because of how the rail is situated, it was better to lock it here and not in the front, because we would have been uneven, and this part here would not have go all the way to the front there. Hope that makes sense. So I did turn it around and then simply cut it to length, so we have a bit of even length in the front. Then of course you have scrap pieces. That's basically what we have here and here. And for training, if you want to do training with the grip, that all works. That is the setup. If you want to do training without the grip, you can simply press here in with a pen, slide it forwards, take the grip off with the screw. Then you use the scrap pieces that you have, put it together and simply slide it in. Now this one not gonna lock because there is no lock left. You're simply gonna slide it in there, and then the front piece with the lock. So then you have both. You can do the training with the grip and just with the flat side as well. That's why I made those two pieces there, using up the scrap, and what is really then left is a piece like this. That is maybe for another project. So yeah, I hope that did make sense. Unfortunately, or yeah, quite likely as usual, it's often not that easy if you mix and match the rails that we have on civilian sales in USA are often not what the military actually use. About the prices is one matter, and then you simply need to look what you can do to make it work, and that's what I did here. And my experience, what I did have, I wanted to share in this video, so that it is a bit easier for you to make the same if you work on such a system. So that much about the cock rails, rail covers, and how to fit them.